Greetings, RC model geeks, and here we are in the shed yet again for part 2 of the Hobbyking Pietenpol Aircamper build. Now, while you've been away, I've been busy with a paintbrush, and I've painted up these wheels silver. They were sort of Chinese plastic white, but I've whacked some Humbrol silver paint on there, and made them look a hell of a lot better. And that's the colour they're meant to be on this model. They're the same colour as the covering. So yeah, that's all good and great. So today we're going to carry on with the build. We'll probably start putting some servos and stuff into the fuselage, and getting the fuselage all wrapped up, because once that's done we can put the tail on. So I'll come back to you when I've done something to the fuselage, I think. Okay, so we are working on the fuselage and we're putting the servos in there. Now, Hans supplied 4 servos. He supplied 2 of those little 9-grammers there, and then he supplied 2 of these big boys. Now, unfortunately, they're too big. These are standard size servos there. They're Hextronic something or other. HX 5110s, I think. They're too big. So luckily, when we were doing Pete's plane Dynam Smart, I ordered 4 digital metal gears, and Pete only used 2 of them. So we have 2 more that are the right size to go in this fuselage. So they are going in there. They are Corona DS238MGs in there. So that's what's going there. Now, first problem of the day to sort out. The plywood that these servos screw into is so thin. It's hardly the thickness of 1 thread on the screws, which is, wholly not good enough. And there's no extra wood underneath where the servos would screw in to give the screws extra strength or anything. Now, it's pretty difficult to get underneath that servo mounting area to put some wood under there. So what I'm going to do, it looks like the servos want to come up slightly anyway, so I'm putting a doubler, you can see one of them there, across the top to give the wood some extra thickness, and to raise the servo up just slightly. So I'm going to put 2 of those in, one at the front and one at the back, and then the screws at least have got a fighting chance to hold in there. So I'll get on with that and come back to you when those servos are in there. So we have the servos mounted in there on their rubbers with the extra bit of thickness there for the screws. Now, when you do the holes for the servo mounting screws, always a good idea, just run some super glue down those holes once you've made them, just to give them a little bit extra strength, which is what I have done here. So what's next? I think we'll probably move along to the nose here. This box just slots on, this engine mounting box, so we've got to drill the holes to mount the motor in there, and then once that's done we can think about gluing this box onto the front. So I think that's our next plan, is to get some holes whacked in there. So back when I've done that. So I've drilled the 4 holes in the motor box. So all we've got to do now is screw that baby onto there. So when I've done that, I'll come back to you. So we've got the basics of the power system together there, the ESC and the motor. So the next thing is to glue that box assembly onto the front of the plane. So we'll be epoxying that, so that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, the motor box is all glued in permanently, and I floxed it in there as well afterwards, so that ain't coming off anytime soon. We've also got the ESC on there, and I rotated the motor around 90 degrees just to give it a better layout for the cables. So that's all looking good. So the next thing to do is get the cowling on there and drill some holes in that to mount it onto the front. So I'll get on with that. The cowling is on, and looks quite nice. There's the prop on there as well. Little bit of a gap there between the prop and the cowling. It's a little bit big, can't really do anything about it. The cowling is as far forward as it dare go, yeah, I mean, you know, you can't move the motor back anymore. I've actually shortened the shaft slightly on the motor so that the collet butts right up to the plate, so I've really shortened it all down as much as I can. So yes, so that is that really, but such is life. So what's next? I think, well, we've got the cabanes to go on here. We've got to cut through this covering here and here, and mount the cabanes. So I'll probably do that next. So I've cut the covering away where the wing struts are gonna go. There's one there as well, one there, and also the holes in the side where the bolts go through to hold those struts. So that's good. And here are the struts. 1 and 2. Now, these struts are different sizes. If I put them together, you will see that one is longer than the other. Okay. Now, of course, there's nothing in the instructions to say which way round those go. So, well, let's just wind back a page and just have another look. Nope, there is nothing. So we're going to plonk them in there and see what happens. You know, on a plane like this, probably the wing wants to be level. There doesn't want to be any incidents on the wing. So we'll have to play around with that and see what happens. So I had a play around with these struts, and from what I can work out, the longer one goes in the front and the shorter one goes in the back. That's what looks like works best for me on this plane. Whether they're meant to be different lengths, of course, is another matter. When we fly it, we'll certainly know whether it's not right or not. But yeah, that's the way it's looking for now. I'm not going to mount those in permanently yet. I'm going to get on with the undercarriage now. So I'll get that screwed on and come back to you. Okay, I just cut away the covering over the slots for the undercarriage, which are here and here, and bloody wood underneath. It's so soft. Check this out. Well, if you can. I don't know whether it will focus. It's going to focus on the reflection, but the whole lot is just moving. It's just thin, crappy ply, no strength at all in that rear section for the undercarriage. So we've got to do something about that and make that a little bit stronger, or even actually, you know what, just run some glue in there where it should have been glued and it isn't, and stiffen that up a bit. And then, oh, you know what, one of them days I went to adjust the undercarriage. The undercarriage didn't fit where it's meant to go, between there and there. It wasn't wide enough. So I went to tweak it and pull it apart, and the bloody thing snapped. Look at that. The part snapped. Now, because what they've done is bloody weld it together, and of course that makes the that piano wire brittle as anything. And so as soon as I pulled on it, bang! It snapped off. Which is a right pain in the butt. There you go. You can see the brake there, and the brake there. So yes. So what I'm going to have to do is, because of the way it's broken off, there's no way that is going back on there. So I'll have to make a new part for the undercarriage. Which isn't a bad thing anyway, because A, the undercarriage didn't fit, and well, it didn't fit in two ways actually, because the you know, if they're expecting this bit of metal to fit in that groove, it ain't happening because it's too long, and the same at the back there. So I think I'm just going to use what parts I can from this. It looked ugly anyway, this undercarriage, ugly as sin. So we will remake the undercarriage out of proper parts, and yeah, we'll be on a winner. But unfortunately, I haven't got any piano wire of that size, so I'm going to raid the B store tomorrow, which is Bixler Phil's shed, and see if he's got any thicker piano wire than I've got. So that is going to be it for the day, unfortunately. And then tomorrow is a Pete's Problem Plane Saturday, so there will be no action on the Pietenpol tomorrow. So that's it. I'll see you all tomorrow for Pete's Problem Planes, and probably Easter Day for continuation of the Pietenpol Aircamper. See you all then. Bye.
Thank you for watching Captain Rob's RC Model Geeks. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button. If you want to see more of the same type of videos, don't forget you can subscribe. If you want to support us, you can use PayPal, paypal.me/RC Model Geeks. If you want to contact us, you can email us rcmodelgeeks@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.